We're here today talking with William Allen about his book, The Life and Times of Robert F. Massie. Bill, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, appreciate being here with you.
Why don't we start? Just tell us a little bit and kind of give us an overview or maybe a teaser of your book.
Sure. Well, this book is historical fiction. It's based on primarily the story of a family that settled in Eastern Virginia in the late 18th century. And then the story of that family, and specifically one of the members of that family, Robert F. Massie, who was actually a true historical figure, but nothing is, except for an incident that happened to him at on Castle Island at Fort Independence in the Boston Harbor. Nothing's really known about this man. I couldn't find any information about him, his family, his ancestors, his descendants, anything. I couldn't. There was there was nothing, which kind of made me rub my hands and go, okay, there's no information about him. I can make it all up. I can write a novel about this guy and his and develop a family and go through to where this final great climax in the story ends with him. And I'm not going to tell you what that is or what happens, but it's pretty shocking, the final climax. But the book has a number of climaxes, and it has rises and it has falls, and a lot of colorful characters. It's like one person that's already read my book. She told me, she said, I believe those people are real now. That's how she felt about reading them, because they were just, I've tried to develop the characters, and I have a lot of interesting and colorful characters in this book.
So where did the inspiration, or you talked about researching and trying to find information about him and not being able to, but where
right out of
inspiration
this
come from?
English high school textbook. When I was teaching high school, this book called Literature and Language, published by McDougall and Littell, had this just a one-page story about the incident that occurred in Fort Independence, and written by a gentleman, a historian and author who was pretty well known in the Boston area. He died a number of years ago, but his name was Edward Rowe Snow, and he wrote about this incident with Robert F. Massie. And it just fascinated me, this little story he wrote. And I thought, my God, that would be a great ending to a book, a great climax to a book if I could build up to it. And so I just got on the old computer and started typing away, and pretty soon a story came around and came together. And then about halfway through writing it, I got the old writer's block and the doubts, and I quit writing. For 2 years, I didn't do anything. I didn't write anything on this book. But then after a couple of years, I thought, my gosh, I'm going to never forgive myself if I don't finish this book. And so I started working on it again, and the ideas started coming again, and got it together. And if people like historical fiction and they like a lot of action, there's, like I said, there's a lot of climatic events in the story, and the shocking conclusion. A lot of colorful characters, a lot of action, some romance, some suspense, some war. It's all those things are in the book.
It's got it all, it sounds like.
It's got it all.
Yeah. Well, as we're wrapping up our time talking about your book, The Life and Times of Robert F. Massie, anything else you want to share with us before we end?
Oh, well, gosh, I hope that people will take a look at the book. I think they'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, you can get a copy. Again, William Allen, The Life and Times of Robert F. Massie. You can get a copy of William's book online through Amazon, through Barnes and Noble. You can even get a copy on the Books app through iTunes as well. So you can get out there, grab a copy, and enjoy the read and enjoy his storytelling ability. Thank you so much for joining us today, Bill.
It's really an easy read, and to be honest with you, there's a lot of information here about sailors going across the Atlantic. And you know what they say: sailors, they drink like sailors, they cuss like sailors. I'm not too much for off-color language, so there's not a lot of it in there. Probably not as much as there realistically would be. But the point being, this book is very appropriate for, like I say, middle school and high school kids. It's appropriate for them. It's not anything that's in there that's at all inappropriate. It's an easy read, and I'd say it's probably written at a ninth grade level if I was going to guess. What I tried on purpose to write it that way. Sure. So if you're 13 years old or you're 83 years old, I think you'll enjoy the book.
Well, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate you taking time.
Hey, thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Have a good one. All right.